So I'm over here, strong right, and then Cam and everybody else is like, no, it's strong left. Or I'm like, we're doing this. No, we're supposed to do that. You're supposed to check this. You're supposed to check that. And as a rookie, I'm like, yo, like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Give me a break.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Not Just Football with Cam Heyward. I, of course, am your host, number 97, Cam Heyward, and with always, I have my producer and longtime friend, Hayden Walsh. Guys, we got a special guest today. You heard from him last week. You'll get to hear some more from him today, Ryan Shazier. But we got to talk about last night. We had our Monday night game versus Indianapolis Colts. It was a hard-fought game that we pulled out at the end. But Hayden, what'd you think?
I was nervous. You dominated the first half, and then it kind of got scary there in the second half. But Kenny had a big drive. Just want to hear what you thought about that. He had to come in after defense gave up a touchdown, went down and scored. What'd you think?
Mm-hmm. You know, they took the lead, 17-16?
Yeah.
And so we needed a big drive, some big throws. Deontay, George Pickens. I think a big round of applause for not only the O-line, but the running game. You got Najee really toting the ball, got hurt in the middle of the game. And then guys like Benny Snell and Anthony McFarland had to step up, which they did. But it was a group effort on offense. I thought everybody really played in cohesion. And on defense, I thought we started off the game great. James Pierre with a pick, got up the field early. We got a block at the end of the first half on the field goal and to go into the half 16-3. But then we come out of the half. We give up a big kickoff return that put them on a short field, and Jonathan Taylor really got going. And fault to mine, he got through my gap once, and then he got to the touchdown. But you got to keep battling. And, then they got down again, and they look like they're close to scoring. And what do you know? They fumble the ball, and Chris Wormley is able, one of our last hosts, Chris Wormley, is able to, in a dogfight with Matt Ryan for the ball, is able to pull it away. And that's a big drive right there. But gave up points after that, and then we needed a stop because it's 24-17. They go down. They got a chance to score. And I know everybody's going to make a big deal about the timeouts. We might even talk about it. But they're driving the ball and having a little success. But you know who grew up that drive? Alex Highsmith gets his sack, his 10th sack of the season, a big tackle for loss, and that's how we sealed the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to talk about the timeouts. That's been the big talk. You had to think they were going to call a timeout at least before the third down play, right?
Well, I was a little bit tired. I was hoping he was going to call a timeout, but if he's not going to call the timeout, you guys stay ready. Their guys were a little bit tired as well, but he felt comfortable, and if in hindsight, you say you should have used your timeouts, but what if you score quick and leave too much time on the clock? It's all about positioning and stuff. And, that as a rookie head coach, that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah, no, I definitely think Matt Ryan wanted a timeout because I think he had a long run on that play, and then he kind of got up and never called it. I think even Troy Aikman was like, when are they going to use it? But definitely a huge stop there at the end. And, yeah, man, I don't know.
One thing I'll bring up, too, if you look at it, the ref they were talking about something, so it kind of stopped the clock in itself. They were trying to make sure everything was I think they were trying to reset the clock or something, so they kind of gave them some extra time without using a timeout. But, you would think you'd want to use a timeout in that situation.
Yeah, how cool is it to watch Kenny kind of grow up, though? I saw Pro Football Focus rated him the highest graded quarterback this week. I thought he played pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, I thought he played good. I don't think he's ever going to think it's a complete performance yet. There's still things we can improve on, things that, there's the game within the game that we can improve on. Whether you look at finishing a couple of balls, making sure George Pickens gets that touchdown in the corner, or one thing we talk about is field goal fringe. I think we were like at the 27 or 29, and we got a sack that kind of pushed us out. And that's one of those places you can't take a sack, because then it screws up your field goal range. And so those are the little things he's going to continue to keep learning. But I thought he had a really good game, was poised in the pocket, made good decisions. And one thing you love from our offense is when we don't turn over the ball. When you don't turn over the ball, you give your team a chance, and that's what they've done the last couple of weeks.
All right, and you're coming home this week. You excited to play the Falcons?
Coming home this week. It's been a minute. Every 4 years we get a chance to play Atlanta. Last time they came up here, that's with Matt Ryan and Alex Mack. Now they got a new quarterback in Mariota. You never know, they might go to Ritter. But I think it's always fun to go back home. You want to put on a show. You want to have some fun. I got to buy a lot of tickets this week, I think.
Yeah. I haven't put in my request yet, but I will just text it to you later, I think.
Bro, you better get on it, because it's starting to add up.
Oh, is it really? I didn't realize it was that big. Jeez. All right. Well, we'll talk after the show. I guess I'll let you know how many I need. I'm excited. Do you like coming home to play?
I like coming home for games. See old stomping grounds. It's not only that's where I grew up. My dad got to play there, so that's another layer on top that I look forward to. So I'm looking forward to it. I always get a warm welcome there. Last time we played there, Steven Jackson was the running back, and Steven Jackson was running back, and we had to gang tackle that dude. That dude was a monster. But another guy we had to look forward to last time we played was Devin Hester. And I remember our special teams coach saying to us, he was like, I don't care where you kick the ball, just don't kick it to him. When a guy like that on special teams is that feared throughout the entire league, he's something special. That was a fun game to be a part of. But, I'm looking forward to going down to Georgia and trying to get another win and stack them.
I cannot tell you how happy I was on Saturday. Oh, it was nerve-wracking in the first half, because I'm not going to lie. The first quarter, I'm like, whoa.
And I hope we learn from this, man, because that game, and one thing you cannot let a Michigan team do is plant a flag in the middle of your stadium. I'm pretty sure we were off the field at the time, but still, where the heck is the security saying that's not happening? Because I feel like I would have had to get thrown out for something like that. That was sickening to me to see that happen. I didn't even watch it, but I saw it on Twitter, and I'm like, really? That's what it got to? Oh, that's not supposed to happen in a rivalry game.
One thing I would say is I don't want to see any Ohio State players fighting after the game when they didn't fight on the field. All right, and that's just all I'll have to say about that.
I tell you right now, I'd fight you. You try to pull in a flag. I'd fight Baker too when he did it too. So
yeah,
this is twice that's happened where Scarlet and Gray tradition. We didn't hold up our end of the deal, but there's a level of pride you got to have when you play at Ohio State, and I didn't see that enough on Sunday or Saturday. All right, sports fans, we're brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the greatest sports betting app of all time. You see, it's not just about daily promos, odd boosts, or the hundreds of ways to wager. It's about the immortal words of Caesar himself. You bet. You get Caesar rewards with every bet you place on the app, no matter the outcome, earned towards exclusive perks at Caesar Rewards. Destinations everywhere, hotel stays, concert tickets, bonuses, and more. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app. Become a Caesars Rewards member today and get more with every wager. Must be 21 and older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-522-4700.
Lions, Tigers, and tailgates, oh my. The college football season is always a great time of year. Besides the jerseys, the face paint, and foam fingers, there's the food. And nothing gets you more fired up for game day than Eckrich smoked sausage. They are naturally hardwood smoked and have the perfect blend of spices. From buffalo sausage dip to sausage chili mac and cheese, Eckrich smoked sausage is a quick way to bring flavor to your tailgate meals. Visit Eckrich.com for easy, one-of-a-kind sausage recipes. Eckrich, you do you.
All right, guys. Well, here's your chance to listen to the rest of our conversation with Ryan Shazier. It's a good one. Take a look. Ryan, explain your reaction to getting drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Man, it was crazy because when I went to the Steelers on my official visit, but obviously it's not official visit, but your team visit, I was with the team. I was spending a lot of time, and Coach Butts, who is the linebacker coach, who ended up being the defensive coordinator pretty much every year after my first year in the NFL. At Pittsburgh, in his office, he was like, "Man, Ryan, you're a phenomenal player. I definitely think you might go in the first round. But one thing I want to tell you is I don't understand why you're here right now. I don't think we're not going to draft my linebacker." So I was like. And then I already knew I was probably going in the first round. So I'm like, he's like, yo, we probably not gonna draft a linebacker in the first round. We don't really need any extra linebackers. So in my head, I'm like, why am I even here? You know what I'm saying? No, but that was on the team visit. So when I was going through all my other visits, you know, everybody would tell me they like me and that they want to get me. But it was like I would go on certain visits. Like I went on a visit to the Atlanta Falcons and they were the fourth pick, and I was saying in my head, I am a very good player, but I was like, I'm probably not going fourth, you know. So when it came to the day of the draft, you know, everybody tried to dress up nice, and I ended up dressing nice, but my feet are pretty big, so I ended up getting size 13 shoes, and I actually wear a 14 and a half, so my feet were hurting, so I took my shoes off at the draft, and then I started putting my shoes on around like the 14th pick. And I was like, all right, this is around the time of the draft where I think I'm probably going to get drafted, like 14 or later. So I started putting my shoes on. Then my agent ran up to me. He was like, "Hey, Ryan, I just want to let you know with the next pick, you're getting picked by the Dallas Cowboys." They called my agent. It was like, "Hey, Ryan, you're getting picked next pick by the Dallas Cowboys." So my dad started texting people from the Dallas, because the Dallas Cowboys were 16, the Steelers were 15. So my dad started texting people like, "Hey, Ryan's about to go to Dallas." It did because my uncle was in the stands. He's a huge Dallas fan. He's about to go to Dallas. And then I see my phone ring, and it was a 412 number. And then we have, obviously, if you play at Ohio State, majority of the time, there's like one guy that might make it to Ohio State and play for for Ohio State from Pittsburgh. Like every year, if you look on that team, they might have like one or two guys, you know, or like every few years. So I end up seeing that number, and I was like, 412. I was like, that's a Pittsburgh number because I have teammates. And, you know, Coach Tomlin Mr. Rooney picked up the phone. He was like, "Hey, how you doing, Ryan? This is Mr. Art Rooney. Would you like to be a Pittsburgh Steeler?" And then I was like, heck yeah. You know, but it was kind of crazy to me because from like at that point in the draft, I was like, all right, I'm going 14. I know I'm not going to the Steelers at 15. And then my agent said I'm going to the Cowboys at 16. So I already thought in my head, like, I'm drafted by the Cowboys. But I'm actually happy that I came to the Steelers because I love Coach Tomlin growing up. You know, I'm going to be honest, as an African-American male and having an African-American coach, that was just, to me, that was phenomenal. I knew getting drafted there that we're going to win. He's known for winning. So it's like I knew I was going to have a great culture. And then being a linebacker in the city of Pittsburgh, it's almost like royalty if you're good. You know, so I was like, man, all I got to do is do my part. And if you're a defensive player in Pittsburgh, they love you. And I was just like, hey, I'm about to start getting to work. And from the moment I got there, Cam made it difficult for me, man. But it was great.
Difficult.
Let's build off that, Ryan. Give us your first impression, and what did Cam do to make it difficult for you?
The first impression with Cam is that Cam is such a hard worker that he expects everybody else to work as hard as him. And that is a very good standard to have. You know, so for me, it would be sometimes like I would slack off on little things like this, and Cam will always try to pull me aside and would just say, hey, Ryan, would you be in the first rounder? Like everybody hold you to a higher standard. You know, so like that was one thing. But then as a rookie, I started the first day I got there. And most people don't start the first day they get there. So with me, I started the first day I got there. And imagine you're a quarterback or the defense, and the first day you get there, like it was like, hey, Kenny, first day of practice, we already have all these other guys that's been playing, and you're starting and you're calling the plays. So it was like I didn't even know the playbook yet, So basically, I'm over here strong right, and then Cam and everybody else is like, no, it's strong left. Or I'm like, we're doing this. No, we're supposed to do that. You're supposed to check this. You're supposed to check that. And as a rookie, I'm like, yo, like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Give me a break. So like that's what I mean, that they was making it difficult for me. But to me, it helped me learn through chaos. And that really helped me out a lot, and I ended up, progressing from it. But, like, Cam wasn't hard on me or anything like that, but it was just, he just wanted me to stand up to the standard that he was. And, having Cam, having Troy, having those guys that were veterans around me, because I was the youngest guy on the team, and I was the first first rookie to start from day one in, like, 8 or 10 years for the Steelers or something crazy at linebacker. So it was just kind of a lot happening at once, but their hard, love really helped me out a lot though.
I'll say this, like, first of all, when you talk about Butts saying that, Butts was just all about the smoke screen. Everybody knew we wanted Ryan. Like, every game Ohio State had on, I would watch Mike T and Butts breaking down. You see that linebacker? You see him? I like him. I like him. If we can get him, we're gonna get him. And I'm like, okay. Like I told Hayden before we were gonna draft like Shay. Like I knew for sure you were gonna be a Pittsburgh Steeler. That wasn't gonna be that wasn't a doubt in my mind. That's crazy. And you could have just asked me, I would have told you. but I'll say this, like when we got Ryan, Mike T would always tell me, we gotta raise him. We gotta make sure he's ready. We gotta make sure 50's ready because I'm gonna put a lot on his plate. And so from day one, it was like, all right, I gotta let him know when he's wrong. I gotta make sure Shay understands it because he's got the green dot. And when you have the green dot, all the forms of communication are going through the linebacker. Yeah. And so everybody's got to make sure they hear the call from Ryan. So Ryan's got to get the call out. He's got to be able to get lined up. He's got to get ready for the check if they're in a certain system. And so we always put that on Ryan. And if Ryan made a mistake, we would get mad at him because he made a mistake. I remember times Ryan would come off the field and he'd be like, I got you on the call. And then, like, he started explaining and be like, man, we ain't trying to hear all that. You was wrong. So, like, we would give Ryan a hard time. I remember one time, was it preseason or regular season? We were playing Philly, and, Troy is
It was preseason.
And Troy was so mad. You never see Troy mad. And Troy's just going off. And he's like, we got guys from Georgia. We got guys from this place. We got guys from Ohio State. And I'm like, he ain't talking about me. And so, but like, Ryan had to grow up through that chaos. And, through it, you got to see Ryan come back on the other side. One thing I loved that, Ryan went to the Pro Bowl before me, and he kind of motivated me a little bit more. I remember it was him and Shay that went to him and DeCastro that went to the Pro Bowl the year before, and I was the alternate, and I didn't get to go. And so Ryan's coming back. He's wearing his sweatshirts, letting me know, and I'm like, damn, this dude's got his Pro Bowl stuff. I'm pissed. So I just remember seeing that and being like, all right, game on. But like we would have those little things that motivate us, and always just trying to get better for the team.
Hey Hayden, I'm gonna be honest. I was so nonchalant too because I used to just wear my stuff around, and people were like, "Yeah,
you're not. You're not nonchalant."
The thing is, I wasn't doing it to be cocky, but I was just like wear my Pro Bowl stuff around, and people were like, "Yeah, we know you went to the Pro Bowl." It's like, I was just wearing it because I liked it. I was just but yeah. But
how many people wear the full Pro Bowl fit to just regular practice?
So there's no Cam Heyward. There's no All-Pro Cam Heyward, Pro Bowl Cam Heyward without Ryan Shazier getting to that Pro Bowl first.
Not at all. Ryan set the standard.
No, you said the standard, man.
One thing, Cam, I do want to go back on. You said you knew they were going to draft him, and I will say this. every year you do tell me who we're going to take. How do you know that?
Because I weed through it all. When they start asking questions about certain guys, I'm not going to say it out publicly, but when we have our eyes set on it, like the worst kept secret, it was probably Najee. Like everybody knew we were taking Najee, but I think that might have been the easiest thing you could have called. But you start looking and you just saying like, oh, we're this on the list. What do we really need? And then how's it stack up with who's available? And then a couple picks before, it's like, we're getting Shazier. If he falls to us, it's going to happen.
Interesting. Yeah, well...
during that year, I'll bring up this. They had me look at Rashid Hageman and Stephon Tuitt. They brought them both around, and so I got to talk to them before the draft, and they asked me who I thought was the guy, and I thought Tuitt. You just look at his tape. You don't see many guys run like Tuitt.
Yeah,
Tuitt was special. And so, Mike T was like, I already knew. I just wanted to make sure you agreed. And we knew because Tuitt was a first round talent, just got hurt in pro day and then fell to us. And we were like, oh, that dude's a Steeler.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Next year, let me know who we're taking round 1. All right.
Nah, I ain't doing that.
All right. What's y'all's favorite memory playing alongside each other?
I'm going to let you go first.
I think my favorite memory through the chaos, I think, is just that Bengals game. Man, that playoff game was wild. And, we're all hot. We thought we were playing pretty good, and then they took the lead. Andy Dalton touchdown to A.J. Green. And, man, I remember looking at Shay and being upset and being pissed off and just being like, all right, let's just try to strip the ball. Let's just, it's not over until it's over. And you just see Shay just rip on it as he's falling to the ground. And, what was the running back's name? Jeremy
Hill.
Yeah, Jeremy Hill, LSU, yep.
Yeah, like to talk a lot of mess. And, he's been notorious for, stepping on Hines, terrible towels. But, watching Ryan strip it, he tried to pick it up and then got knocked out again. I was like, oh, snap. Yeah. And then was it Ross Cockrell picking up the ball?
Yeah, Ross Cockrell.
You couldn't ask for a better, cement of just how great Ryan is, because he never gives up and would always give us a chance to battle.
So with me, Cam, what was the game that you was it your Pecky tour?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the Dallas game. So to me, obviously we lost this game, but one of my best memories of playing with Cam is that Cam had a torn pec and he played through the game. And to me, it was just like, for you to play a whole football game in the position that he plays, think about the position that he plays, and he played basically the whole game with one arm. You played a lot of that game, right? Basically, the whole game. Did it in the second quarter, and they told me it was a bruise. So I was like, bruises don't feel like this, bro. And the worst part about it was the next day, I think our trainer was like, yeah, you'll be fine. It's just a bruise. I'm looking at my arm. It's completely swollen. And then I hear on the radio, and they're like, oh, Cam's done for the year. And I'm like, I haven't even gotten the news. How did they already get the news? And then, I had to explain the, hold on one second. What, love? Go get a snack. Oh, my gosh. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
No problem.
All right,
my kids
keep that in, Tucker. I guess keep that in. The kids coming involved, I guess keep that in.
No, so what I was saying, Cam, is basically, so with you playing that whole game, it kind of showed me your will, how hard you're not letting anything stop you, but just how it was hard for you played the whole game with a torn pec, and they told you had a bruise, and then Ezekiel Elliott had a crazy game. We still could have won that game, but what was crazy to me is that once you came out of the game, it was such a significance of a drop off. And obviously Tua was playing, but it was such a significant drop off, and it made my job a lot harder. And I'm not saying that and Hayden was like, you made people you kept people off of me, but he did. And he kept people off of me, but not by holding them, but by making plays. And Cam has been doing this since I've been in the league, but it's just now he's getting credit for it. So it's just, to me, it's just all the hard work is finally paying off. And it just that is the game that we have all these wonderful memories, but that is the game that really man, I appreciated you so much more because I seen what you went through and then how things were without you. So because it's really hard to appreciate people when they're there. You can appreciate them and you can thank them and you thank them for everything and support them and stuff like that. But when you see somebody's not there, you can see the impact that they can really make on you. And that game kind of made a huge impact on me. So
I'll say two things. One, you guys didn't miss me that much. You guys went to the AFC Championship. So let's get that straight.
No, I'm just saying, we can't stop the run though.
Right. But I'll say this. The next following year, I think that might have been one of our best teams.
Yeah, no, 100%.
What we were doing on defense, and obviously the injury to you set us back because nobody was ready to lose you. Ryan, you were killing it. We all knew you were playing the best football you had ever played. This is when TJ had just moved to the left side, right?
Or the right side.
He was on the right side. And so me and TJ were still going. And then.
So you mean you're talking about our defensive left side? Yeah.
Yeah. And so, TJ just moved to the left side. And so I think that year you still had Bud, you had Javon Hargrave, Stephon Tuitt. And then on offense, I think, we were at the peak of the Killer Bees. You had Ben, you had AB, you had
Martavius, Juju.
You had Martavius, you had Marcus Wheaton, Le'Veon. I think you had D'Angelo Williams as well.
Yep.
Man,
who was our tight end though? Spade?
Heath Miller. Isn't it Heath Miller?
No, Heath Miller.
No, it wasn't Heath. It wasn't Heath.
Was it? I think it was. It was Spade. Spade was there. I don't think Spade was there. Was he there still?
No, it wasn't Spade.
That's crazy. I don't remember.
I think David Paulson.
No, it wasn't David Paulson.
Might have been.
No, it was not David Paulson. No, it was Jesse James.
It was Jesse James.
Jesse.
Yeah.
It's Jesse James for sure. He was only 43 years old. Year 2 for Jesse James.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I just thought, Ryan was such an integral part that, there was a gaping hole once he was gone. And, Vince, it was Ryan and Vince always together. And, that's, Ryan and Vince might have been, one of the best duos because, they could play off each other. They could talk about anything. They were able to know where each guy was supposed to be every single play. They were kind of similar to how Ryan Clark and Troy Polamalu were. Because, with Ryan is instincts. Some of the best instincts I've ever seen. Sometimes you'll be mad at Ryan because it'll take some instincts. But them instincts will make some crazy plays. And that's what Troy was about too. And, to do that, you got to have someone who's going to make you right and make sure you can take those chances. And I think both of those guys always did that. But, not having you out there definitely made the game a lot harder.
They kind of felt like a thunder and lightning because Ryan's the fastest linebacker I've ever seen in the NFL.
Shake and bake.
I mean, they were, and Vince would come down and lay the wood, man. So those were very fun teams to watch. And Ryan, you may have said this when training camp, but what is your welcome to the NFL moment?
So my welcome to the NFL moment was my first game when we went against Joe Thomas in the Browns. So basically, it was like a regular run. I had a decent game. I had 7 tackles, but there was one play when they did a zone play and he climbed up to us and so normally I would be able to swipe people's hands off or whatever. He grabbed me and it was Like if they didn't blow the whistle, he'll still be grabbing me right now. It's like I was not getting loose from him, and I was like, man, this dude is so strong. And so him and then Yonda, they were like some of the strongest offensive linemen that I've ever been against. And like our offensive line was really good, like David Castro, but it was just we played against them so much, I kind of knew their weaknesses. But with Yonda and Joe Thomas, it really was like, man, these guys are so strong, but they're so agile too for their size. And in college, you'll go against good guys, but like probably both of those guys are possibly going to go to the Hall of Fame. Joe Thomas is going to the Hall of Fame, but I don't know about Yonda. What do you think about that one, Cam? But I think both of them are some of the best guys I ever went against.
Before I get there, all I'm going to say is, like, you talk about like me keeping tackles and guards over you, and then you bring that up, like. That doesn't do a good job of like saying I did a good job of keeping them off you.
No. So, bro, but it was a zone play. It was like an outside zone play. It was like it was like more like Bud wasn't there. It was like JJ and Worlds. It was our like my rookie year. I'm not gonna say that we weren't a bad defense, but our defense was not where it needed to be my rookie year. Yeah, our rookie year it was there were times that we had teammates, not named Cam, and Tua wasn't playing at the time, that were getting triple scooped. So only me and Cam know who I'm talking about. So getting triple scooped is not
about guys getting triple scooped, and then
what is triple scoop? What is that?
It means to get scooped does mean you get cut off from your gap. So if you get triple scoop, that means 3 guys past you, you got triple scoop. And so now guys like to say they're going to open their own ice cream shop and call it scoops.
But if the thing about it is, if somebody gets scooped, one person gets scooped, that means that old lineman is right in my face right now. Like they're here. So imagine 3 people pass him, so that means it's 2 linemen in my face, and then there's a running back running through here. It's like I'm like, all right, yeah. But that was my first game, my rookie year. It was obviously everybody was like we had to, everybody wasn't doing what we needed to do. It was like our team we had a lot of work to do. So
no, I'll say this about like Ryan's NFL moment. It was in camp, and him and Stephon Tuitt were roommates. And it was, I think we had a walkthrough, and Ryan and Tuitt slept in. And Tuitt tells the story that, like, Ryan wasn't waking up, he wasn't waking up, and, like, someone messed with the alarm clock. And so everybody's down at the field, and all we see is Tuitt and Ryan just walking. Not a run, but just, and then we're like, oh, they're definitely about to get fined. And so then they both start blaming each other for why they're both late.
No, so the thing is with me is like I kind of learned this. This is not a good person to learn from. I learned this from AB and Lawrence.
Oh gosh! Right?
So it's like if you're late, you're already late. So it's like, why am I running if I'm late? It's like I'm already in trouble. So but I'm not like that anymore. But that's what I was thinking then, and it was like I was already late. I was like, if I run here, I still have to go change. I still have to do all this stuff. So it's like I'm not
any rookies listening to the podcast.
Don't do that.
Don't do what Ryan says. Play like Ryan did, but don't do what Ryan just said.
If I'm late, I'm already late. Absolutely not. What a terrible advice that is. Like
I hope that was rookie me. That sticks with you, Ryan.
That was rookie me. That's not me anymore. That's not me anymore.
Oh my God, that's awful.
It's the best time of year. Football season is in full swing. Basketball and hockey have returned, and nothing beats seeing your favorite team live. Make up for lost time and go enjoy a game. Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN, is offering you $10 off your first $100 ticket purchase with code NJF. That's code NJF. Download the app or visit vividseats.com today. Vivid Seats. Life happens live.
We were doing some research on you, Ryan, and I actually saw a clip of you shirtless before a game in Buffalo. You're originally from Florida. You can admit now you were cold that day, and that was a dumb idea, correct?
No, so the shirt idea, there's a root to this whole thing. So
there is.
So basically, I was sick that day. I was very sick. I was super sick. Like I didn't have the flu, but I was almost as close as to having a flu as you can probably get. I had like a very bad virus. So I was sick. And when I played, defensive guys didn't wear sleeves. Like nobody wore them. And so I was like, I'm real sick, and I was like, hey, man, I understand we don't wear sleeves, but I'm feeling sick. I just need something to keep me warm. And it was like, nah, you can't wear sleeves. I was like, what are you talking about? It was like, we're going to fine you $5,000 per sleeve. And I was like, what? And I was like, I'm sick. I need, like, if I go out here and die, it's on y'all, right? And so basically, obviously it's not that bad. But so I had to warm up. And then they was like, nah, Ryan, like, I don't care what you say, you're not wearing sleeves. So I was like, all right, man, coach, they tripping. Like, so I went to coach. I'm like, man, they tripping. Like, they saying I can't wear sleeves. Like me personally, I could have definitely wore sleeves. It's like nobody was gonna take them off from me. But it's just, I don't know why I was an idiot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm basically talking to my teammates about this. So basically, I went to them because obviously I was one of the leaders of the team, and so I was like, I'm gonna talk to my team about it. So I was like, hey, I'm not wearing sleeves. And I'm gonna wear sleeves. And then Coach T was like, yeah, whatever they say, I'm rocking with it. So if you getting fined, you getting fined. So I was like, this is bullshit, basically. So I was like, all right, if y'all don't want me to wear sleeves, I'm about to go out here and it was like 10-degree weather, and I'm just gonna warm up with no shirt off. So if I'm gonna die and get sick, I might as well just get used to it right now. So basically, I went out there, warmed up, came back out, we played the game. Then after the game, everyone was like, man, you was tripping, man. It was cold as hell out there. You out there with no shirt on. And so then I was like, we just played a whole game, and y'all, that's the first thing you come talking to me about? So then I was like, all right, I'm kind of in your head. You've been, like, we literally played a whole football game. So you had to think about this throughout the game. Like, man, it was super cold out there, and Shazier is out there with no shirt on. He definitely want to play. I don't, like, some guys don't want to play when it's that cold. So I started thinking, I was like, if guys are thinking about this after the game, I kind of got a little edge on them. Like, I got to look like, because think about it, like, the difference between Cam and then, another D lineman is just 1%. Like, when you're in the NFL, it's just 1 or 2%. So, like, all of us are great players. Like, everybody that's in the NFL are great. And they can start, not for another NFL team, but they can start somewhere. And they're the top 100 in the world in their job, in the whole world. So to me, I was saying, if you're thinking about this and I get 1 or 2% over you, that's an advantage to me. So I started just going out there with no shirt on because I knew that other people would be like, man, he's tripping. And like, to me, they like, man, I don't feel like playing. And I'm going against this, this lunatic over here who definitely wanted to play more than me because, this weather doesn't faze him. So it was kind of that type of thing. I was cold as hell out there, though. I definitely hate the cold weather, though. Like, it's still super cold. But that was the whole mental aspect of it, though.
5,000 per sleeve sounds like an HR violation. Okay.
Yeah. There's no such thing as HR violation.
It sounds like that's not legal, Cam. And I'm sure you were behind that.
No, it wasn't Cam. It wasn't Cam.
I was part of it.
Yeah, he was definitely part of it, though.
Into that. I remember Debo.
It was definitely James, the one that like, I'm gonna rip the sleeves off of you. Whatever.
Yeah. So
like I look at it now. I'm a 30-year-old man now. I'm like, you weren't going to touch me, like, but like being 20, I was like 23, 24 at the time. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to these guys, whatever. And then I started doing it every game after that. And then the coldest game was when we played Miami, though. That game was freezing. When we played Miami and I had no shirt on, it was like negative 18. It was like super cold. And then it ended up going on like national television and everything. And then like the week after that, New York Giants tried to do it too. And I was like, so it was like, I did. And I was like, now people are like kind of jumping on the trend, So I was like, all right, cool. I might as well keep doing it.
Started a trend, man. Very nice. All right. Tell us about your podcast, man. Don't Call It a Comeback.
So I have Don't Call It a Comeback. So Don't Call It a Comeback is talking about basically sports and pop culture that talk about comeback stories. So basically when, Game of Thrones, The House of the Dragons came back out, we talked about a comeback story. We talk about some of the greatest comebacks, like, for instance, the men's national soccer team, they didn't make it to the World Cup in 2018. So basically we talked about, are they going to make a comeback? Are they going to make a good showing this year? We talked about the Phillies making it to the World Series, when them starting off 22 and 29, making it all the way to the World Series with Bryce Harper being hurt pretty much the whole season and making a comeback. So we talk about comeback stories when it comes to pop culture. but also when it comes to sports as well. So any type of comeback is through Wondery on Amazon, and but it's a great comeback. It's a great comeback story. It's a great podcast with me and Dave Damashek.
No, I love it. And, it's funny you bring up comebacks, but give our viewers and everybody a look into what's going on with your foundation, because I think that's the real comeback you got going on.
Yeah, so I have the Ryan Shazier Fund. So the Ryan Shazier Fund is about individuals that suffer spinal cord injury. So when I was dealing with a spinal cord injury, I was extremely blessed when it came to having the NFL having my back, the Steelers having my back, my teammates, my family, the city of Pittsburgh. But the average person that has a spinal cord injury, they don't have all that. They have their family. Some of them don't even have a supporting family. Then they have depend on the insurance company. Sometimes the insurance doesn't cover all the rehab sessions. And they don't have some of the resources to just help them through life. So I started the Ryan Shazier Fund to provide funds and to provide independence and help individuals reach independence. And everybody's independence is a little bit differently. If something happens to you or something happens to Cam, we all need different treatments. We all need different things that we feel that help us become independent. And we try to help them when it comes to that. And then we also have other programs for like the family and caregivers. When somebody's going through an injury, somebody's going through an illness, majority of the people is asking, hey, how is Ryan doing? But they never ask how is Michelle doing. So we wanted to make sure we take care of those families, and then we have peer-to-peer, and then we have events as well to just try to build a community for individuals with spinal cord injuries.
And you can always take part. This past year, we got to do a special gridiron dinner with me and Ryan. So if you can, you can win a dinner. We've done it. Last year was our first year, but we will be doing it again. And we love everybody taking part in that as well.
Yeah, you go on the gridiron.
Yeah, tell us more about that. I saw on Ryan's Twitter, y'all asking weird questions to each other. Tell us more about the gridiron dinner.
So that was after, but the dinner is more us telling more of these stories we get to share, and we get to host it in the stadium, which is a really cool thing. And our wives get to take part and kind of just make fun of everything we talk about. So, it's a good time, and we had some really special guests that got to take part last year.
It's a great event that supports both of our foundations, and it allows a fan and their family or friends to join us on a dinner. So it's a great time. We have a 5-course meal, so it's a really good time.
And they can even make it very vegan and gluten-free. Ryan's got a bunch of allergies. Like everywhere we used to go when we were traveling, Ryan had to order French fries because he couldn't eat the type of seafood, or he had a nut allergy. There was always something. So we always had to have a pile of French fries for Ryan to make sure he was taken care of.
And that was more of a preference, but I definitely French fries are my favorite food, so that's why we always got them.
Yeah.
So wait, do you have a peanut allergy or not? Because those are pretty serious.
Yeah, no. So what's crazy is I grew up my whole life with a peanut allergy. Then I recently found out, or tree nut allergy. Then I recently found out that I'm not really allergic to them. I'm sensitive to them. So I've recently had almonds. I know that's not a tree nut, but I recently had almonds, and I had pecans the other day. But I don't feel comfortable. Like at our dinner, I had pistachios when we had our dinner, and nothing happened. So I'm all right. So,
and then, this is the same night he's, telling me, hey, man, I just had some seafood from him. I'm like, Ryan, you all right, bro? What's going on? Because, he really had, a shellfish allergy.
Yeah.
And that was always very intense.
Yeah.
And so, he's telling me, I'm trying, salmon and stuff. I'm like, you good over here? What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, so I don't
have an EpiPen on me?
Yeah, I don't do it too much, but sometimes we will eat seafood, or I could eat a few nuts now and there. Pause. But hey, no, but it's just that is basically I get my diet is I've grown out of certain things.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you grew out of those things, and also great work with the gridiron dinner and everything else, guys. But Ryan, we do want to talk about some business off of the field. Heard that you started a trucking business with your dad. Tell us a little bit more what else you do off the field business-wise.
So one thing that I do off the field, I like you said, I have the podcast. I try to keep myself pretty busy. I have the podcast. I started a trucking company that ships cars all over the country. So basically, whenever anybody needs their car shipped, it could be from here to Ohio or from here to California. And when I mean here, that's Pittsburgh. But it could be anywhere across the country. We ship cars. And I started that with my dad, and it's going pretty well. There's ups and downs in business, and especially with the economy, with things going up and down. But that's one thing that we're doing. And then I also do a bit of broadcasting and hosting. So I have, a 50 feet, something called Ryan Shazier 50 feet on. So I do a hosting a show that talks about individuals that had injuries as well. So those are some of the things I do off the field. And then I also partner in an insurance company. So I try to keep myself busy. Sometimes I'm a little bit too busy, but I try to keep myself busy because football kept me really busy, and I try to keep myself as busy as I was when I was playing football.
All right. I got a question for both of you, all right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the best and worst investment idea you've ever been pitched? And is there an investment that you missed out on that would have gone huge?
So somebody talked to me about tunnel before. Tunnel.
What's tunnel?
Tunnel.
What's tunnel? Sorry.
Like the workout.
The workout.
Oh, okay.
With LeBron and Serena Williams. Somebody pitched me on that before, and I was like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. And then that was like one of the biggest in-home workout things. And then one of the worst things somebody pitched me. Ooh. I'm trying to think about it. Most of the time, people just ask me to invest in themselves. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean you want me to invest in yourself? Like, hey, man, I'm a hardworking guy. I'm trying to start a business. I just need you to invest in me. Like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. So, but I'll say Tono is the one that I missed out on. And then to me, the best investments that I've always been part of is more of just I love real estate, so I like to be in real estate. I like buying homes. I like getting cash flow. So that's some of the things that I like to do.
Yeah, I would say for me, like the investment side, I think for me, people don't want to come towards me because I give like
a scary vibe.
A very scary vibe. And like I look like I'm more inclined to say no than yes. So for the most part, a lot of people stay away. And, I think that's what most rookies got to be very comfortable in saying is no. But I would say over the years, I think there was a time I got a chance to invest in Cameo, and I thought that was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to be part of it.
Here.
Like,
same here.
I don't need to be saying what is really going to come out of saying happy birthday from random people. But hey, man, it's taken off, and it's a business in itself. And then I would say, you hear. I remember the old 30 for 30 broke, and so like you were always scared about like investing in like car washes and restaurants because they were always quick to go bankrupt somehow.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that probably happens earlier in your career, right? People try to come up to you more before you guys are seasoned veterans in the investment game, huh?
No, people still come up to you.
But
the thing is crazy is Cam definitely, which is like, because people think Cam, like obviously Cam's a big guy, but people think Cam is like a mean guy, and I think because people portray us on who we are on the field, and I feel like me and Cam are probably some of the, cooler and nicer people in the locker room. If you really just think about people that just relate to people, I think we're both very relatable. We can talk to anybody, any different group of people. But everybody, say how we play on the field, they think we're mean guys. So.
Plus, I want to be a protector, and so like for me, like if I don't know you, like I don't want to know you because I feel like you're trying to gain something from it, and like I'm very particular about protecting my teammates, making sure they're protected, protecting my family, and I'm not just gonna go out my way to see what's out there.
Yeah, no, I see it. And Ryan, I'm actually looking at a picture right now of you and LeBron hanging out on the sideline of Ohio State game. Are you guys boys? And is he ever going to be on your podcast?
Yeah, no, we're not really boys. I've met him at Ohio State game. It would be dope to have him on my podcast. But that's one thing that that Ohio State does that Michigan doesn't. We get big time people to come to our games. So.
Well, they're going to get Jawan Howard to show up?
Yeah.
Guys, Flavor Flav was there last week.
Flavor Flav, are you serious?
Flavor Flav was on the sideline last week. Spike Lee was on the sidelines this year. You guys don't know what you're talking about.
We were playing, and one time I saw Steve Urkel, Jaleel White walk across. I was like, oh, he's an Ohio State fan. That's way better than Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav that's not it, bro.
Guys. Aaron Judge has been on the sideline. Tom Brady's been on the sideline. Let's not get into which side has more famous people on it, because I don't know that y'all are going to win that like you think you are.
No, we're definitely going to win that.
We always
no, you're definitely
LeBron James.
You can't use an alumni. You can't use an alumni. You got to actually use people that didn't go to school there.
Spike Lee didn't go to school at Michigan. Neither did Flavor Flav. Aaron Judge didn't go to Michigan. He was on the sidelines a couple weeks ago.
The only reason he was probably at the sidelines is because he played a game in Detroit or something.
No, man, because he's a Michigan fan. Because the maize and blue is a lot better looking than the scarlet and gray.
You don't even believe that.
The one thing I know,
we have pictures of you in Ohio State stuff. You look way better in that than the stuff you're wearing right now.
That's not true. No comment. I don't believe that. Those are altered photos. I don't believe that.
Oh,
that's crazy.
We'll bring those out for the Not Just Football.
Whatever.
Thanks for tuning in to Not Just Football. Please like, rate, and subscribe to the show on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. We will be back next week. See you then.